Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Max AC channel. For this month's theme, I thought it would be fun to take another journey around the world to try to make some new and exciting recipes. So, for this month of April, we will be celebrating Adventurous April once again, where we'll be making 4 more dishes representing different cuisines from around the world. So, for this week's episode, we will be traveling to Southeast Asia by making some lumpia. For this recipe, for about 50 lumpia, you will need 1.5 pounds or so of pork, a half pound or so of shrimp. You will also need some vegetables. There isn't really a set list of ones you have to use, but some I recommend and will be using are half cup or so of cabbage, 1 onion, 2 to 3 garlic cloves, 1 to 2 carrots, some green onions, and a half cup or so of mushrooms. There are plenty of other options you can use, such as bamboo shoots and water chestnuts, so use whatever you think will taste good for your preferences. You will also need 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 egg, some salt and pepper, 50 or so lumpia wrappers. You can also use egg roll or other Asian wrappers if you can't find this kind. Some oil for frying like avocado oil, and some optional dipping sauce such as sweet chili sauce or sweet and sour sauce. First, we'll prepare the ingredients for the filling. Mince up your meat and vegetables into small pieces using a knife, or if you're making a lot of filling like I am, you can toss everything into a food processor and let it do all the work for you. Though you might still want to chop up your vegetables into chunks to make it easier to process. Also, depending on how big your food processor is, you might need to do this in batches, but just set your minced ingredients aside and we'll combine them later. Once all of your ingredients are chopped up, combine the meat, vegetables, soy sauce, egg, and salt and pepper together until everything is evenly distributed. You can cook the meat beforehand if you wish, but the meat should cook through when we fry the lumpia, so I wouldn't worry about it. Though I do recommend taking a little bit of your mixture and cooking it to taste it to see if it needs more salt and pepper, but this is optional as well. Then, if you have time, place this into the fridge and allow the mixture to set for 30 minutes or so. This will make it easier to fill your lumpia, but it's not necessary. When you're ready to fill your lumpia, grab your filling and your wrappers. Place your wrappers underneath a moist towel to keep them from drying out. Grab a single wrapper and place it on a clean surface. Lumpia wrappers are really thin, so you might rip the first few, but the damp cloth should help make the rest of them easier to peel apart. Place about 1 tablespoon or so of filling onto slightly below the center of the wrapper and shape it into a cylindrical shape. I like to use a piping bag for this. You can make a makeshift one using a Ziploc bag, or you can just use your hands too. Then, once your filling is shaped properly, to fold the lumpia, first fold the bottom up to the filling, then fold one side of the wrapper over this, and then fold the other side as well. Then put some water on the top edge to help seal your lumpia, and then just roll this up tightly but gently into a tube shape, and your lumpia should be ready to go. If you're using a square wrapper, just orient it into a diamond shape, and then place your filling and fold it as described before. Repeat this step until all of your lumpia are ready. When you're ready to cook your lumpia, prepare your cooking method of choice. If frying, fill a pot or skillet with enough oil to fry your lumpia, and heat this to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. If baking them in the oven, preheat it to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And if air frying, preheat to 380 degrees Fahrenheit. If frying, grab your lumpia and place a few at a time into your hot oil, making sure not to overcrowd it, and then fry these for 3 to 4 minutes, turning them occasionally if needed, until they turn golden brown on the outside. Once done, remove them from the oil and set them on some paper towel or a wire rack to cool and drain some oil. Repeat this until all of your lumpia are done. If baking, place your lumpia onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and then brush these with some oil. Bake these for 10 minutes, then give them a flip and another brush of oil, and bake for another 5 minutes or so until they turn golden brown. Repeat this until all of your lumpia are done. If air frying, place your lumpia into the air fryer basket and brush them with some oil. Then air fry these for 10 minutes or so, flipping and brushing with more oil about halfway through until they turn golden brown. Repeat this until all of your lumpia are done. Then, once your lumpia are done, serve immediately with some dipping sauce if desired, and your lumpia are ready to eat. After making Vietnamese spring rolls last month, I knew that I wanted to try to make another Asian roll recipe for this month around the world. And so, thanks to a fan suggestion, I decided to make some lumpia. I've actually never made this before, but apparently, what differentiates lumpia from other fried Asian rolls is the thin crepe like pastry skin used as its wrapper. I find it easier just to buy it from the store, but you can make it by mixing some flour and water into a thin batter and then brushing a thin layer of it onto a hot pan. But it can be very tricky and time consuming if you want to make a lot of wrappers, so I usually go with store bought unless I'm desperate. Lumpia, literally translating to soft cake, refers to various types of spring rolls from Indonesia and the Philippines specifically. There are many different variations of this dish, spanning from the savory to the sweet, but this particular lumpia recipe, because it contains pork, is known as lumpiang Shanghai, which, despite its name, does not originate from Shanghai or China. That said, the dish in general does find its origins from Chinese settlers in the 19th century, which is where this name probably derives from. Other variations include vegetable lumpia, cheese lumpia, and even banana chocolate lumpia. So, you really can fill this wrapper with most anything and it will taste good. Just make sure to cook the filling at some point if it's raw. Speaking of which, if you want, you may freeze your lumpia after rolling them up and before cooking them. I recommend freezing them before cooking so they taste as fresh and crispy as possible when you do end up making them. They should last about 6 months or so in the fridge if you ever want some without going through the whole process of making them. If you do plan on freezing them, I recommend wrapping them individually in some plastic wrap and aluminum foil so they don't end up sticking to each other and to prevent freeze burn. You can also cook them without defrosting either. You'll just have to cook them for a few minutes extra to make sure the meat is fully cooked. But if you want to be on the safe side, you may defrost them if you wish and just follow the normal instructions. Just make sure to check if it's done before eating them. Lumpia is such a popular dish around Southeast Asia, with the various countries adopting different fillings based on their country's preferences. And because of its colonial presence in the region at the time, the Dutch also imported lumpia, and it is very popular there as well. In fact, the word lumpia
Lumpia.
has become the generic name for the word spring roll in Dutch, even for rolls that come from other places. And interestingly, because of their colonial links, lumpia is associated with Indonesian culture in the Netherlands and Europe in general, but in the US, the dish is more associated with Filipino cuisine. But whatever you consider its origins, lumpia is a great and delicious dish to make and share with your friends and family from anywhere in the world. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. In the comments below, let me know how it went if you decided to make it, and let me know if there's anything you want me to make next. Like the video, share with your friends and family, and subscribe to this channel for more episodes of the Max AC channel. And remember, if you want to stay cool in the kitchen, turn your AC to the max and watch the Max AC channel. Hmm. Hmm.